First contact and the galactic threat. The vast expanse of space stretched before Captain Elena Reyes as she stood on the bridge of the ESS Horizon, humanity's first faster-than-light capable starship. The excitement of their maiden voyage beyond the solar system was palpable among the crew, a mix of seasoned astronauts and brilliant scientists chosen to represent Earth in this historic moment. All systems nominal, Captain, reported Lieutenant Sarah Chen from her station. We're ready to initiate the jump drive on your command. Elena took a deep breath, her dark eyes scanning the faces of her crew. This was it, the moment that would change human history forever. Initiate jump sequence, she ordered, her voice steady despite the butterflies in her stomach. The ship's AIA began the countdown. Jump in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In an instant, the stars outside the viewscreen blurred into streaks of light. The horizon shuddered, and for a moment, Elena felt as if her entire being was being stretched across the cosmos. Then, as quickly as it began, it was over. The ship emerged in an unknown sector of space, far beyond anything humanity had ever explored. Cheers erupted on the bridge as the reality of their achievements sank in. Humanity had just made its first faster-than-light jump. As the initial excitement subsided, the crew got to work, scanning the surrounding space for any signs of life or habitable planets. It wasn't long before AIA's voice cut through the chatter. Captain, I'm detecting multiple vessels approaching at high speed. Configuration unknown. Elena straightened, her joy giving way to caution. Raise shields. Open all communication channels. The approaching ships slowed as they neared the horizon. They were sleek, almost organic in design, unlike anything humanity had ever conceived. The largest of the vessels, easily dwarfing the horizon, took position directly ahead. A burst of static filled the bridge, followed by a melodious voice speaking in an unknown language. AIA worked furiously to decode the transmission, and within moments, the alien words transformed into comprehensible English. Unknown vessel, you have entered Galactic Confederacy space. Identify yourself and state your intentions. Elena took a deep breath. This was the moment humanity had long dreamed of, first contact with an alien civilization. This is Captain Elena Reyes of the Earth ship Horizon. We come in peace, seeking friendship and knowledge. There was a pause, then the alien voice returned, a note of surprise evident. Earth, you are human. How did you reach this sector? We've developed faster-than-light technology, Elena explained. This is our first journey beyond our solar system. Another pause, longer this time. When the voice returned, it carried a hint of urgency. Captain Reyes, your arrival is unexpected. The Galactic Confederacy requests your immediate presence. Will you follow us to our nearest outpost? Elena exchanged glances with her senior officers. This was beyond anything their mission parameters had prepared them for, but the opportunity was too significant to pass up. We would be honored, she replied. The horizon followed the alien fleet to a massive space station that seemed to shimmer with an inner light. As they docked, Elena assembled a small team to accompany her, including Lieutenant Chen and Dr. Marcus Okoro, the ship's gynobiologist. They were met by a delegation of beings so diverse that Elena had to remind herself to close her mouth. The leader stepped forward, a tall, willowy creature with iridescent skin and large, multifaceted eyes. I am Counselor Genva, the being said, its voice the same melodious one they had heard earlier. Welcome to Outpost Harmony. Please follow me. The council is eager to meet you. As they walked through the station's corridors, Elena and her team struggled to take in the myriad of alien life forms and advanced technology surrounding them. Dr. Okoro looked like he might burst with questions, but managed to contain himself. They were led into a grand chamber where holographic figures flickered into existence around them, representatives of the Galactic Confederacy attending remotely. Counselor Genva took its place among them. Humans of Earth, a gravelly voice echoed through the chamber. The speaker was a being that seemed to be made of living stone. "I am High Counselor Krias. Your arrival here is troubling." Elena frowned. "Troubling. We come with peaceful intentions, High Counselor." "Your intentions are not in question, Captain Reyes," Krias rumbled. "But your timing is problematic. The galaxy is at war." A murmur ran through the human delegation. Zenvar raised a hand to quiet them. For the past 50 cycles, the Galactic Confederacy has been locked in conflict with the Void Dominion, a militant species bent on dominating all sentient life. Images flickered in the air, worlds burning, fleets of menacing ships darkening the skies of alien planets. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. The Void believe in the superiority of their species, another counselor, a being of pure energy, explained. They see all other life as fit only for enslavement or eradication. And now, Krias continued, a new unknown species with faster-than-light capabilities has appeared on the edge of Confederacy space. You must understand our concern. Elena straightened, her voice firm. "We understand, High Counselor, but we also see an opportunity here. Humanity has no love for tyranny or oppression. Perhaps we could aid in your conflict against the Void." A ripple of surprise passed through the Council. "You'd involve yourselves in a war that is not your own?" Genva asked, its multifaceted eyes blinking rapidly. "If the Void are as you describe," Elena replied, "then this war became ours the moment we learned of it. We cannot stand idle while innocent lives are threatened." High Counselor Krias leaned forward, his stony features unreadable. "Your offer is appreciated, Captain Reyes. But forgive me, your species is unknown to us. Your technology, while impressive for having achieved faster-than-light travel, is primitive compared to Confederacy standards. What could you possibly contribute to this war effort?" Elena felt a flash of indignation, quickly suppressed. She understood the Council's skepticism, but she also knew humanity's potential. "High Counselor, respected members of the Council, I ask that you not dismiss us so quickly. Humanity has a long history of overcoming seemingly insurmountable odds. We are adaptable, innovative, and determined. Give us a chance to prove our worth." The Council members exchanged glances, a silent communication passing between them. Finally, Genva spoke. "Perhaps a demonstration is in order. We will provide you with data on Void tactics and technology. Show us how you would approach this conflict." For the next several hours, Elena and her team pored over the information provided by the Council. The Void were indeed a formidable enemy. Their ships were capable of facing through normal matter, their weapons devastating. But as they studied the battle reports, patterns began to emerge. "They're overconfident," Lieutenant Chen muttered, pointing to a series of engagements. "Look here and here. They consistently underestimate smaller forces, leaving themselves vulnerable to flanking maneuvers." Dr. Okoro nodded, adding, "And their biology, their energy-based life forms. Their ability to phase through matter is impressive, but it also means they're vulnerable to certain types of radiation that wouldn't affect matter-based life nearly as much." Elena felt a plan forming. When they returned to the Council chamber, she stood tall, ready to present their findings. "Respected Council," she began, "we've analyzed the data you've provided, and we believe we've identified several weaknesses in Void strategy and biology that could be exploited." She laid out their observations, the tactical oversights, the biological vulnerabilities, and a series of proposed countermeasures that could turn the tide of key battles. As she spoke, she could see the Council members' attention sharpening, their earlier dismissiveness giving way to genuine interest. When she finished, there was a moment of silence. Then, to her surprise, High Counselor Krias let out a sound that might have been a chuckle. "It seems we may have underestimated you, Captain Reyes. Your species' fresh perspective has indeed highlighted aspects we had overlooked." Genva leaned forward, its iridescent skin shimmering. "This is intriguing, but ideas alone will not win this war. Do you truly believe humanity is prepared to stand against the Void threat?" Elena met the Councillor's gaze steadily. We are. Humanity has faced existential threats before, Counselor. We've overcome plagues, world wars, and environmental disasters. Each time, we've emerged stronger, more united. We don't back down from a fight, especially when the stakes are this high. The council members conferred among themselves, their discussion inaudible to the human delegation. Finally, High Councillor Kreis addressed them once more. Captain Reyes, we have made a decision. The Galactic Confederacy formally invites humanity to join our alliance against the Void Dominion. We will share our technology, our resources, to help bring your species up to galactic standard. In return, we ask for your full commitment to this war effort. Elena felt the weight of the moment settle on her shoulders. This was far beyond her authority as a starship captain, but she also knew the opportunity it represented for humanity. High Counselor, respected members of the Council, on behalf of humanity, I accept your offer. We will take this proposal back to our leaders, but know that you have my personal commitment to this cause. As the human delegation prepared to return to the horizon, Councillor Genver approached Elena. Captain, a word of caution. The path ahead will not be easy. The Void are a terrible enemy, and this war has already cost us dearly. Are you certain your people are prepared for what's to come? Elena considered the councillor's words carefully before responding. Councillor Genvar, human history is filled with moments where we faced overwhelming odds and triumphed. We're not naive about the challenges ahead, but we're also not a species that shies away from adversity. The Void may think they're invincible, but they've never faced humanity before. They're about to learn what we're capable of. As the horizon disengaged from the station, preparing for the journey home, Elena gazed out at the star-filled expanse before them. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger galaxy, but those steps were leading them into war. The path ahead was uncertain, fraught with danger, but also filled with possibility. "RIA," Elena called out, set a course for Earth. It's time to let humanity know we're not alone in the universe, and that we have a galaxy to defend. The Horizon's engines hummed to life, and in a flash of light, the ship disappeared into the depths of space, carrying with it news that would forever change the course of human history. The stage was set, and humanity was about to show the galaxy what they were truly capable of. As impressive as the Prometheus was, it was just the beginning. Shipyards around the world began constructing an entire fleet of Prometheus-class vessels. Humanity was arming itself for war on a scale never before imagined. Yet, not everyone was convinced this was the right path. Protests erupted in cities across the globe, with some arguing that humanity should focus on peaceful exploration rather than war. Others feared that by joining this conflict, Earth was painting a target on itself. Elena found herself addressing one such gathering in New York City. As she took the stage, she was met with a mix of cheers and boos. "I understand your fears," she began, her voice carrying across the crowd. "A year ago, we didn't even know alien life existed. Now we're preparing for an intergalactic war. It's a lot to take in." She paused, letting her words sink in. "But I've seen what the Void are capable of. I've witnessed worlds burning, entire species on the brink of extinction. If we don't stand against them now, Earth could be next. We're not just fighting for the Confederacy, we're fighting for our very existence." Her words seemed to resonate, and slowly, the mood of the crowd began to shift. It was a scene repeated across the globe as humanity came to terms with its new reality. 6 months after the Prometheus's maiden voyage, Earth's defense fleet was ready for its first real combat mission. Intelligence from the Galactic Confederacy had identified a void staging area in a nearby star system. It was time to test humanity's mettle against the dreaded Dominion. As impressive as the Prometheus was, it was just the beginning. Shipyards around the world began constructing an entire fleet of Prometheus-class vessels. Humanity was arming itself for war on a scale never before imagined. Yet, not everyone was convinced this was the right path. Protests erupted in cities across the globe, with some arguing that humanity should focus on peaceful exploration rather than war. Others feared that by joining this conflict, Earth was painting a target on itself. Elena found herself addressing one such gathering in New York City. As she took the stage, she was met with a mix of cheers and boos. "I understand your fears," she began, her voice carrying across the crowd. "A year ago, we didn't even know alien life existed. Now we're preparing for an intergalactic war. It's a lot to take in." She paused, letting her words sink in. "But I've seen what the void are capable of. I've witnessed worlds burning, entire species on the brink of extinction. If we don't stand against them now, Earth could be next. We're not just fighting for the Confederacy, we're fighting for our very existence." Her words seemed to resonate, and slowly the mood of the crowd began to shift. It was a scene repeated across the globe as humanity came to terms with its new reality. 6 months after the Prometheus's maiden voyage, Earth's defense fleet was ready for its first real combat mission. Intelligence from the Galactic Confederacy had identified a void staging area in a nearby star system. It was time to test humanity's mettle against the dreaded Dominion. As impressive as the Prometheus was, it was just the beginning. Shipyards around the world began constructing an entire fleet of Prometheus-class vessels. Humanity was arming itself for war on a scale never before imagined. Yet, not everyone was convinced this was the right path. Protests erupted in cities across the globe, with some arguing that humanity should focus on peaceful exploration rather than war. Others feared that by joining this conflict, Earth was painting a target on itself. Elena found herself addressing one such gathering in New York City. As she took the stage, she was met with a mix of cheers and boos. "I understand your fears," she began, her voice carrying across the crowd. "A year ago, we didn't even know alien life existed. Now we're preparing for an intergalactic war. It's a lot to take in." She paused, letting her words sink in. "But I've seen what the void are capable of. I've witnessed worlds burning, entire species on the brink of extinction. If we don't stand against them now, Earth could be next. We're not just fighting for the Confederacy, we're fighting for our very existence." Her words seemed to resonate, and slowly, the mood of the crowd began to shift. It was a scene repeated across the globe as humanity came to terms with its new reality. 6 months after the Prometheus's maiden voyage, Earth's defense fleet was ready for its first real combat mission. Intelligence from the Galactic Confederacy had identified a void staging area in a nearby star system. It was time to test humanity's mettle against the dreaded Dominion. As the fleet prepared for departure, a sense of anticipation and nervous energy permeated every ship. This wasn't just humanity's first interstellar battle, it was a chance to prove themselves to the Galactic Confederacy and show the void that a new player had entered the game. Captain Elena Reyes stood on the bridge of the Prometheus, now the flagship of Earth's fleet. Around her, a dozen Prometheus-class ships moved into formation, their crews a mix of seasoned spacefarers and fresh recruits, all united in their determination to defend Earth and its new allies. All ships reporting ready, Captain, Lieutenant Chen reported from her station. Elena nodded, her voice steady as she gave the order. "Initiate quantum displacement jump on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark." In a flash of dazzling light, Earth's fleet vanished from orbit. Moments later, they emerged at the edge of the target system. Immediately, alarms blared across the bridge. "Multiple void signatures detected," Chen called out. "They spotted us." On the main view screen, Elena watched as a swarm of void ships turned to face them. The alien vessels were monstrous, their energy-based designs an unsettling fusion of matter and void. "They're charging weapons," the tactical officer reported, tension evident in her voice. Elena's eyes narrowed. This was it, the moment of truth. Everything they had worked for, everything they had prepared for, came down to this. "All ships, battle formation Delta," she ordered, her voice calm but filled with steel. "Prepare to engage." Let's show these void bastards what humanity is made of. As the two fleets closed in on each other, energy weapons flaring to life and shields shimmering into existence, Elena couldn't help but feel a sense of grim determination. This was just the beginning, the opening salvo in what promised to be a long and brutal war. But as she looked around at her crew, seeing the same determination reflected in their eyes, she knew one thing for certain: humanity was ready. They had entered this war of their own free will, driven by a desire to protect not just themselves, but all sentient life in the galaxy. The Void thought they were invincible, but their technological superiority made them unstoppable. But they were about to learn a harsh lesson. When humanity entered the battle, the rules of the game changed. As the first shots were fired, marking the start of humanity's first interstellar battle, Elena allowed herself a small, fierce smile. "Let's make Earth proud," she said, her voice carrying across the bridge. "All ships, engage." The Nova fleet rises. The battle that unfolded in that distant star system would go down in human history as the Battle of Proxima Centauri. It was humanity's baptism by fire, a test of everything they had learned and developed in the short time since first contact. As the Void ships phased in and out of normal space, the Prometheus-class vessels proved their worth. Their adaptive phased shields flickered and pulsed, adjusting to each new attack vector. The Singularity cannons lived up to their promise, their gravitational beams impossible for the Void to dodge or phase through. Captain Elena Reyes stood at the center of the chaos, her voice steady as she called out orders. "Prometheus to all ships, concentrate fire on the lead Void cruiser. Let's take out their command and control." The battle raged for hours, a deadly dance of energy beams, gravitational singularities, and facing ships. Slowly but surely, the tide began to turn. The Void, caught off guard by humanity's advanced technology and unpredictable tactics, found themselves on the defensive. As the last Void ship winked out of existence, torn apart by a carefully coordinated barrage from 3 Prometheus-class vessels, a cheer went up across the human fleet. They had done it. They had faced the galactic menace and emerged victorious. But the celebration was short-lived. As damage reports came in, the cost of their victory became clear. 2 human ships had been destroyed, their crews lost. Several others were badly damaged. Elena felt the weight of those losses keenly. Yet, as she looked around at her battered but unbroken fleet, she knew they had accomplished something monumental. Humanity had proven itself on the galactic stage. The return to Earth was met with a mixture of jubilation and somber reflection. As news of the battle spread, humanity reacted with a surge of pride and determination. They had stood against the darkness and held their ground. Now it was time to push back. In the months that followed, Earth's shipyards worked overtime. The lessons learned from the Battle of Proxima Centauri were incorporated into new ship designs. The Prometheus class, impressive as it was just the beginning. Dr. Aisha Patel stood before a holographic representation of a new ship design, her eyes gleaming with excitement. "Ladies and gentlemen," she addressed the assembled military and scientific leaders, "I present to you the next evolution in our fleet, the Nova-class battleship." The hologram showed a vessel nearly twice the size of the Prometheus class, its sleek lines bristling with advanced weaponry. "We've incorporated everything we've learned about Void technology," Patel explained. The Nova class features an improved quantum displacement drive, allowing for even greater precision in FTL jumps. The adaptive phase shields have been enhanced to provide better protection against the Void's facing attacks. She paused, a hint of pride in her voice. "But the real breakthrough is the new main weapon. We call it the Void Disruptor. It doesn't just damage Void ships, it destabilizes the very energy matrix that makes up their form." General Oliveira leaned forward, his eyes fixed on the hologram. "How soon can we begin production?" "The first Nova-class ship will be ready for trials in 3 months," Patel replied. "Full-scale production can begin immediately after, assuming the trials are successful." As the Nova fleet took shape, humanity's role in the galactic war expanded. No longer content to simply defend, Earth's forces began to take the fight to the void. Working in concert with Confederacy fleets, they pushed back void incursions, liberated occupied worlds, and slowly but surely turned the tide of the war. Yet, as humanity's influence grew, so did the danger. The void, recognizing the threat posed by these newcomers, began to focus more of their attention on Earth and its colonies. Attacks became more frequent, more vicious. It was during one such attack, a massive void assault on the colony world of New Eden, that the true potential of the Nova fleet was revealed. Outnumbered 3-1, a small task force of Nova-class ships, led by the flagship ESS Excalibur under the command of now Admiral Elena Reyes, stood as the last line of defense. All ships execute Maneuver Omega. Elena's voice rang out across the comm channels. Concentrate void disruptor fire on their flagship. Let's cut the head off this snake. The Nova fleet moved with a synchronicity that seemed almost impossible, their quantum displacement drives allowing them to blink in and out of existence faster than the void could track. The void disruptors fired in perfect harmony, their energy beams converging on the massive void command ship. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, with a silent flash that lit up the space around New Eden, the void flagship simply ceased to exist. Its energy matrix, disrupted beyond the point of cohesion, dispersed into the void of space. The effect on the remaining void ships was immediate. Robbed of their central command, their formation fell into disarray. The Nova fleet pressed their advantage, methodically taking apart the void assault force piece by piece. Elena turned to see Dr. Patel walking towards her, a tired smile on the scientist's face. "It never gets old," Elena agreed. "Sometimes I still can't believe we're out here, fighting a war among the stars." Patel nodded, her expression turning serious. "The void are pulling back, regrouping. Our victory here was significant, but the war is far from over," Elena finished. "They'll be back, and in greater numbers." "Yes," Patel said, "but we'll be ready for them. There's something I need to show you, Admiral, something that could change everything." Elena raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "Oh?" Patel pulled out a small holographic projector, activating it to display a strange, swirling mass of energy. "We've been analyzing the data from the void disruptors. There's something odd about the way the void ships react when they're destroyed. It's as if they're not just dispersing, but being pulled somewhere." Elena leaned in, studying the hologram. "Pulled where?" "We're not sure," Patel admitted, "but we have a theory. We think there might be another dimension, a place the void call home, a place they retreat to when their physical forms are disrupted." Elena's eyes widened as the implications sank in. "If we did find this place, we could take the fight directly to the void," Patel finished. "End this war once and for all." As Elena looked back out at the stars, a mix of hope and trepidation filled her. They were on the cusp of something monumental, a discovery that could alter the course of the war. But as with all great discoveries, it also carried great risk. "Well, Doctor," Elena said, a determined smile spreading across her face, "I think it's time we paid the void a house call. Let's see what's behind door number 2. Little did they know, as they stood there planning their next move, that they were about to uncover a secret that would shake the very foundations of the war and of reality itself. Humanity's first interstellar battle, the discovery of the potential void home dimension, sent ripples through the scientific and military communities of both Earth and the Galactic Confederacy. For weeks, the brightest minds worked tirelessly to understand the strange energy readings and develop a way to access this other realm. Admiral Elena Reyes found herself in countless strategy meetings, trying to plan for an incursion into a dimension they knew nothing about. The stakes were higher than ever. This could be the key to ending the war, but it could also lead to unimaginable disaster if things went wrong. Finally, after months of preparation, a plan was set in motion. A small task force, led by the ESS Excalibur, would attempt to breach the dimensional barrier and scout the void's home territory. The mission was volunteer only, given the extreme risks involved. As Elena stood on the bridge of the Excalibur, preparing for what could be her final mission, she couldn't help but feel a sense of déjà vu. Once again, humanity was stepping into the unknown, risking everything for the greater good. "All systems of go, Admiral," Lieutenant Commander Chen reported from her station. "The dimensional rift generator is powered up and ready." Elena took a deep breath, her gaze sweeping across the bridge crew. Each face showed a mixture of determination and apprehension. They all knew the risks, but they were here anyway. Humanity at its finest. "All right, people," Elena said, her voice steady. "Let's make history. Again, initiate the dimensional rift sequence." The space in front of the Excalibur began to shimmer and twist, reality itself seeming to bend and warp. A swirling vortex of energy formed, growing larger by the second. "Rift is stable," Dr. Potel's voice came over the comm. "We're ready when you are, Admiral." Elena nodded, even though Patel couldn't see her. "Take us in, Helm. Nice and easy." The Excalibur, along with its escort of 2 Nova-class ships, moved forward into the swirling vortex. For a moment, everything seemed to stretch and distort, and Elena felt a sensation of weightlessness and disorientation. Then, with a flash of light, they were through. The view that greeted them on the other side was unlike anything they had ever seen. They found themselves in a vast expanse of swirling energy, with no clear distinction between up and down, left or right. Streams of what looked like pure energy flowed around them, forming intricate patterns and structures. "My God," Elena breathed, her eyes wide as she took in the alien landscape. Are we seeing the true form of the void?" Before anyone could respond, alarms blared across the bridge. "Multiple contacts," Chen called out. They're everywhere." The view screen filled with swirling masses of energy, vaguely reminiscent of the void ships they had fought in normal space, but far more fluid and abstract. These were the void in their natural state, unbound by the limitations of physical form. "They're charging weapons," the tactical officer shouted. "Evasive maneuvers." The battle that followed was like nothing humanity had ever experienced. In this realm, the void were faster, more agile, and their attacks seemed to come from all directions at once. The human ship's weapons, so effective in normal space, struggled to lock onto the ever-shifting energy forms of the void. "Our weapons are barely affecting them," Chen reported, frustration evident in her voice. "It's like trying to shoot smoke." Elena's mind raced, searching for a solution. They were outmatched, fighting the void on their home turf, but there had to be a way. Suddenly, an idea struck her. "Dr. Potel," she called out over the comm. "The void disruptors. Could we modify them to work in reverse? Instead of dispersing the void's energy, could we use them to concentrate it?" There was a pause as Patel considered the idea. "It's possible," she replied, "but it would require a massive power surge. We'd be pushing the reactors beyond their safety limits." Elena looked around at her battered ship, at the swarm of void entities closing in. They were out of options. "Do it," she ordered. "Divert all non-essential power to the void disruptors. We're going to give these energy beings a taste of their own medicine." As the engineering team worked feverishly to modify the void disruptors, Elena coordinated with the other ships, setting up a carefully choreographed attack plan. They would only get one shot at this. "All ships on my mark," Elena said, her voice calm despite the chaos around them. 3, 2, 1, mark. The modified void disruptors fired, their beams converging on a central point amidst the swarm of void entities. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, with a silent flash that seemed to ripple through the very fabric of this strange dimension, a shockwave of concentrated energy exploded outward. The effect on the void was immediate and devastating. The concentrated energy acted like a solid object in this realm of pure energy, scattering the void entities and disrupting their forms. Confusion spread through the void ranks as they found themselves vulnerable for the first time in their home dimension. "It's working," Chen exclaimed. The void are retreating. Elena allowed herself a small smile of triumph. Press the advantage, she ordered. Don't let them regroup. The human ships surged forward, their modified void disruptors continuing to wreak havoc among the void. What had started as a desperate last stand had turned into humanity's first victory in the void's home dimension. As the last of the void entities retreated into the swirling energy streams around them, Elena finally allowed herself to relax slightly. They had done it. They had not only survived an incursion into the void's realm, but had actually won a battle here. But as the adrenaline of battle faded, Elena realized that their victory had come at a cost. The Excalibur's systems were strained to the breaking point, and one of their escort ships had been badly damaged in the fight. "Status report," she called out, her voice hoarse. "We're running on emergency power," Chen replied. "The reactors are barely holding together after that power surge. We need to get out of here soon, Admiral." Elena nodded grimly. They had achieved their objective. They had proven that humanity could fight the void in their own realm. Now it was time to bring this invaluable information back home. "Set a course for the dimensional rift," she ordered. "Let's go home." As the battered human ships limped back towards the swirling vortex that would take them home, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. They had opened a door, and there would be no closing it now. The war was entering a new phase, one that would be fought across dimensions, and humanity, against all odds, was at the forefront of this new frontier. As they passed through the dimensional rift, returning to the familiar stars of their own universe, Elena's mind was already racing with the implications of what they had discovered. The void were vulnerable in their home dimension, yes, but they were also more powerful there. This was a double-edged sword, and wielding it would require all of humanity's ingenuity and courage. One thing was certain, the galaxy would never be the same again, and humanity, for better or worse, was now irrevocably part of this cosmic drama. Uncovering the Black Armada, the return of the Excalibur and its battered fleet from the void dimension was met with a mixture of jubilation and grave concern. While their victory proved that humanity could fight the void on their own turf, it also highlighted the immense dangers of such engagements. The Galactic Confederacy, impressed by humanity's daring and ingenuity, began to take Earth's contributions to the war effort more seriously. In the weeks that followed, as the Excalibur underwent extensive repairs, Admiral Elena Reyes found herself in countless debriefings and strategy sessions. The data they had gathered from their incursion into the void dimension was invaluable, but it also raised more questions than answers. During one such meeting, a young analyst named Dr. Zara Okafor made a startling discovery. "Admiral," she said, her voice trembling with excitement, "I've been analyzing the energy patterns we recorded in the void dimension, and I found something odd." Elena leaned forward, intrigued. "Go on, Doctor." Okafor brought up a holographic display showing complex energy wavelengths. "These patterns here," she pointed, "they don't match anything we've seen from the void before. It's as if there's another force at play in their home dimension, something separate from the void themselves." The implications of this discovery were enormous. If there was indeed another force in the void dimension, could it be an ally against the void, or was it an even greater threat? The Galactic Confederacy Council was equally intrigued and concerned by this revelation. High Counselor Kriers, in a rare display of urgency, called for an immediate joint operation between human and Confederacy forces to investigate this anomaly further. Thus, Operation Shadow Seeker was born. A task force of both human Nova-class ships and advanced Confederacy vessels was assembled, with a mission to enter the void dimension and seek out the source of these mysterious energy patterns. Admiral Reyes, given her experience with the previous incursion, was chosen to lead the human contingent. As she stood on the bridge of the newly repaired Excalibur, she couldn't shake a feeling of foreboding. They were venturing into the unknown once again, but this time, the stakes felt even higher. "All ships report ready, Admiral," Lieutenant Commander Chen announced. Elena nodded, her face set with determination. "Very well. Initiate dimensional rift sequence. Let's see what secrets the void is hiding. The journey through the dimensional rift was smoother this time, their previous experience and refined technology making the transition less jarring. As they emerged into the swirling energy landscape of the void dimension, Elena was struck once again by its alien beauty and inherent menace. "Begin scanning for the energy signatures," she ordered, "and stay alert. We don't know what kind of welcome the void might have prepared for us this time." For hours, the task force moved carefully through the void dimension, their sensors straining to pick up any trace of the anomalous energy patterns. Just as frustration was beginning to set in, an excited shout came from the sensor station. "Admiral, we're picking up a massive concentration of the unknown energy signature, bearing 047 Mark 213. Elena's eyes widened as the readings came up on the main view screen. The energy concentration was indeed massive, far larger than anything they had encountered before. "Take us in, Helm. Nice and easy." As they approached the source of the energy readings, a collective gasp went up from the bridge crew. Emerging from the swirling energy streams was a sight that defied belief, a vast armada of ships, but unlike anything they had ever seen before. The vessels were pitch black, seeming to absorb the very light and energy around them. Their design was angular and predatory, a stark contrast to both the organic forms of the void and the sleek lines of Confederacy ships. They hung there, silent and motionless, like a slumbering beast waiting to be awakened. By the stars, Elena breathed. "What are we looking at?" Before anyone could respond, a transmission cut through their comm channels. The voice that spoke was deep and resonant, carrying an air of ancient power that sent chills down Elena's spine. "Intruders from the realm of matter," the voice boomed. "You have entered waters too deep for your kind. We are the nullifiers, the ancient enemy of the void. Our slumber is ending, and the final battle approaches." Elena's mind reeled at the implications. Another player in this cosmic war, one that had apparently been dormant for eons. This changed everything. "I am Admiral Elena Reyes of Earth," she responded, striving to keep her voice steady. "We seek allies against the void threat. Are you friend or foe?" There was a pause, and for a moment, Elena feared they wouldn't respond. Then the voice returned, a hint of curiosity coloring its tone. "Earth? You are not of the Confederacy." "Interesting. Perhaps there is more to your kind than we first thought. Come, Admiral Elena Reyes of Earth. It is time you learned the true history of this war and the role you may yet play in it." As a tractor beam from one of the massive black ships enveloped the Excalibur, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that they were crossing a point of no return. The discovery of this black armada and the mysterious nullifiers promised to upend everything they thought they knew about the war and the nature of the universe itself. She only hoped that in uncovering these ancient secrets, they weren't opening Pandora's box. As the Excalibur was drawn towards the colossal black ship, Elena steeled herself for whatever revelations awaited them. The fate of Earth, the Confederacy, and perhaps the entire universe now hung in the balance. The stage was set for the final act of this cosmic drama, and humanity, for better or worse, was at the center of it all. The final confrontation. As the Excalibur was drawn into the massive hangar of the Nullifier flagship, Admiral Elena Reyes felt a mix of awe and trepidation. The interior of the ship was as black as its exterior, seeming to absorb light rather than reflect it. Strange symbols pulsed with an eerie blue light along the walls, their meaning incomprehensible yet somehow familiar. Elena, along with a small delegation including Dr. Patel and Lieutenant Commander Chen, was escorted through winding corridors by beings that seemed to be made of living shadow. They finally arrived at what appeared to be a vast command center, dominated by a holographic display of the universe unlike anything they had ever seen. A figure materialized before them, taller than any human and cloaked in darkness. When it spoke, Elena recognized the resonant voice from the earlier transmission. "I am Sarkol, Supreme Commander of the Nullifiers," the being said. "Your arrival has been foretold, though its meaning remains unclear." Elena stepped forward, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "Supreme Commander, we came seeking answers. We find ourselves in a war we barely understand, against an enemy that threatens all life as we know it." Axarkol nodded, a gesture surprisingly human for such an alien being. "The void, yes, it is a conflict as old as the universe itself, but perhaps it is time for the cycle to end." Over the next few hours, Axarkol revealed a history that shook Elena and her team to their core. The nullifiers and the void were two primordial forces existing since the dawn of the universe. The void sought to return all of existence to a state of pure energy, while the nullifiers aimed to preserve the balance between energy and matter. For eons they had fought, their conflict shaping the very fabric of reality. The Galactic Confederacy, and indeed all life in the universe, was but a byproduct of this eternal struggle. But now, Axarkol explained, a new player has entered the game. You, humanity. A species young enough to adapt, yet old enough to understand. You may be the key to ending this cycle once and for all. As Elena absorbed this information, alarms suddenly blared throughout the nullifier ship. The holographic display erupted with activity, showing a massive void fleet emerging from dimensional rifts all around them. "It seems," Axarkol said grimly, "that the final battle has come to us." What followed was a battle that would be remembered for millennia to come. The Black Armada of the Nullifiers, dormant for eons, roared to life. Humanity's Nova Fleet, alongside their Galactic Confederacy allies, found themselves fighting shoulder to shoulder with these ancient beings against the full might of the Void. The Void dimension itself became the battlefield, reality twisting and warping around them as energies beyond comprehension were unleashed. Nova-class ships darted between lumbering nullifier dreadnoughts, their Void disruptors working in tandem with weapons that seemed to unmake reality itself. Admiral Reyes, back on the bridge of the Excalibur, coordinated the human and Confederacy forces. Her quick thinking and adaptive strategies proved invaluable in the chaotic dimension where traditional laws of physics held no sway. But even with the combined might of the nullifiers, humanity, and the Galactic Confederacy, the void seemed endless. For every void entity destroyed, two more seemed to take its place. The battle raged for what felt like an eternity, the fate of all existence hanging in the balance. It was Dr. Petal who finally saw the solution. "The dimensional rifts," she exclaimed over the comm. "If we can close them, we can cut off the void's reinforcements." Axarkol's voice came through, tinged with what might have been respect. It could work, but it would require a tremendous amount of energy. Energy that we do not have to spare in this battle. Elena's mind raced, then settled on a decision that she knew might be their only chance. What if we overloaded the Excalibur's reactor? A controlled quantum implosion could generate enough energy to seal the rifts. There was a moment of stunned silence on the bridge. Chen was the first to speak. "Admiral, that would destroy the ship. We wouldn't be able to escape in time." Elena met the eyes of her crew, seeing in them the same determination she felt. Sometimes the price of victory is high, but if it means saving not just Earth, not just our galaxy, but all of existence, it's a price I'm willing to pay. The plan was set in motion. As the battle raged around them, the Excalibur maneuvered into position. The rest of the Nova fleet formed a protective barrier around it, buying them the time they needed. "It's been an honor serving with all of you," Elena said to her crew, her voice thick with emotion. "For Earth, for life itself, let's finish this." With a final command, Elena initiated the reactor overload. The Excalibur's engines flared with an intensity that rivaled stars. Reality itself seemed to bend and warp around the ship. In a blinding flash of light that echoed across dimensions, the Excalibur detonated. The resulting quantum implosion sent out a shockwave of unimaginable power, sealing the dimensional rifts and cutting off the void's connection to their home dimension. The effect was immediate. Without reinforcements, the remaining void entities found themselves outnumbered and outgunned. The combined forces of humanity, the Galactic Confederacy, and the nullifiers pressed their advantage, methodically eliminating the last of the void threat. As the final void entity winked out of existence, a hush fell over the battlefield. Slowly, realization dawned. They had done it. The war that had raged since the dawn of time was over. In the years that followed, the universe entered a new era of peace and cooperation. The sacrifices of Admiral Elena Reyes and the crew of the Excalibur were honored across 1,000 worlds. Humanity, once a newcomer on the galactic stage, now stood as equals with the most ancient of races. The nullifiers, their ancient purpose fulfilled, chose to return to their slumber, but not before sharing some of their knowledge with their new allies. This ushered in an unprecedented age of scientific and spiritual advancement. As for the void dimension, it was not destroyed but changed. Without the driving force of the void entities, it became a place of creation rather than destruction, a wellspring of energy that would fuel the growth and evolution of the universe for eons to come. And so, the story that began with humanity's first tentative steps into the cosmos ended with them playing a pivotal role in the grandest conflict in universal history. It was a testament to the human spirit, their adaptability, their courage, and their willingness to sacrifice for the greater good. In the end, when humanity entered the battle, they didn't just change the rules of the game. They rewrote the very nature of existence itself, ensuring a future of infinite possibilities for all life in the universe.